welcome to It Happened in Grand Prairie, Texas. And we're just so pleased that when it happens in Grand Prairie, Texas, that sometimes they're still making history and we can document it. And we're just so excited to bring you this wonderful, wonderful new history for the city of Grand Prairie, Texas. It's sort of a mini history because we had planned a great deal around this to invite Mike Foreman and his beautiful wife Christine to be with us today to give us a short resume of their life and all of the things, because Mike is real special to us. And Mike, we just want to welcome you today to the set of It Happened in Grand Prairie.
Thank you
See,
so much.
you didn't know you were going to be a history item one of these days, did you?
Did not know that 18 years ago.
18 years ago,
That's right.
when you came to Grand Prairie, Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And as the outgoing assistant to the city manager, and we want you to give us a wonderful documentation about all the throws that happened from 17 years ago until this time. But prior to that, we got to get the real beginning of the real Mike Foreman.
Oh, yeah.
Would you tell us a little bit about where you were born, the name of your parents and your mother's maiden name, and if you have siblings, any of that, you just go into a dissertation for me.
Okay, I can do that.
All right.
I was born in Houston, Texas, and my mom is Ada Mae Foreman, formerly Foskey, and father was Ralph Foreman. And so they married young age, but didn't have children until they were 33 years old. And so they raised me in Beaumont, Texas, or just north of Beaumont, in a town called Warren, Texas.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and in the piney woods, big thicket,
yes.
beautiful, beautiful country.
Gorgeous.
And so from there, I ended up at Stephen F. Austin. When I graduated high school, went to Stephen F. Austin for about 3 years, and then from there I transferred to UTA.
Well, now let's start back. Do you have siblings? No.
Oh no, I'm an only child.
Oh, you are rotten from the core.
Rotten from the core, an only child.
And tell me about your inspirations that you had in elementary school. Where did you go to elementary, and who was the favorite teacher in all of up to the 7th grade?
Well, probably Mr. Bo Isaac. Mr. Bo Isaac's no longer with us. He's up
school?
in heaven. It was in Warren Junior High.
Warren Junior High.
Yeah, 6th grade.
Oh.
He used to have us. He taught us history and world history, and so he would have us on our days to where we got all our work done and everything like that.
Yeah.
Back then, I'm telling my age here a little bit. He brought out the record players.
Oh, great.
And he had little 45s, and he'd put little 45s on there. And we could stand up in front of the class and sing to the 45. It's kind of like the pre-karaoke.
So good.
Yeah, we did that probably a couple times a year.
He broke the ice for you to be able to perform, didn't he?
He did. So it was he's probably my best memory of junior high.
Junior high. Well, how about now, high school? Were you at the same town?
Same school. Yeah, I went to the same school, Warren, from
12th grade,
from 4th grade all the way to the 12th grade. Yes, ma'am.
That is
and
wonderful.
So,
how about high school? Wrap it all up. What was your favorite subject and a favorite teacher or two?
Probably my coaches. We had several coaches there, Coach Patton and Coach Miller and a couple others that were really good teachers, but they were also great coaches. And I played football. And loved playing, just loved being part of that program and everything like that. But school was definitely enjoyable. I liked
when you graduated from there. Now tell us again where you did go to junior college.
I went to Stephen F. Austin State University.
State University.
Yeah, and went there 3 years.
Your major?
I was majoring in accounting.
Oh, to start with.
To start with, I was going to be an accountant.
That is a tough one.
That was. And so then I transferred to UTA. And still studying accounting. And
what brought you to UTA?
A girlfriend from, how you meet a girl in college.
And your parents still live down in the?
No, they had actually passed away.
Oh, they'd
actually passed away, so I was on my own.
On your own, completely?
On my own. Have some cousins. I have about 3 cousins that have spread out. They actually now live in Richardson, and we still stay close and stuff.
How about this UTA? Was that exciting?
Oh yeah, it was very exciting.
You like that?
I did. I wasn't, back then you didn't live on campus as much. I lived in an apartment complex.
Yeah.
So I was a commuter, commuted to UTA.
Yeah.
But while I was there, I applied for a work-study job. And so when I got the work-study job, and it was with the city of Arlington in their accounting department.
Because you had that background of your,
Right.
yeah. Thought you were going to be a CPA.
Thought I was going to be a CPA. I was working with a lot of guys that were
Yeah.
taking their CPA exam at that
Yeah.
time. So got a little bit of that experience working there. Decided that once I was doing all those check registers and all the, ledgers and everything like that, I kind of decided right then that wasn't for me. That wasn't going to be the path that I wanted to go on, even after about 3.5 years of.
You changed your major after 3.5
I
years.
did.
That was good.
And then the city of Arlington offered me a full-time job. And so I made the decision to quit college at that time and take the full-time job in building inspections.
Okay.
And I was probably the first male building inspection clerk. I was a clerk at the front desk who took in the permit
the permits
applications.
and everything.
Yep, at the city of Arlington.
But that gave you a basic that was invaluable.
Oh, it really did. It taught me a lot about customer service.
Oh yes. Oh
It
yes.
taught me extreme amount about how to treat people, how to reach out and find out what they needed and what we needed to provide to them. And from there, I worked with our building inspectors. There was a lot of guys that had been there for a long time, had a lot of experience, and they kind of took me under their wing. I was about a 21-year-old little kid, and they took me under their wing, taught me how to do building inspections.
Yes.
Charles Clausen was the planning and development director for the city of Arlington. He and Jack Thompson formed what they call code enforcement now.
Yeah.
Formed a code enforcement department, and I was one of the first of probably 12 code enforcement officers who were assigned to our code enforcement department in
Now
Arlington.
this was something new to you, there wasn't it?
It definitely was.
You've taken so many different steps that each level has been a different area.
It really has.
Yes.
And so
How'd you like code enforcement?
I loved it.
You were the big daddy on campus when you did that. You go walk in.
I loved it. And we had we had a really good team, a lot of training. They sent us to become fire inspectors. We got our fire inspector's license. They sent us to be plumbing inspectors. Got our state plumbing inspector's license. So everybody worked together. We studied together. Did a lot of. There was a lot of training that was going on at that time because we were all new.
Yeah.
Became associated with the Code Enforcement Association of Texas at that time. A couple of years later.
Yeah.
Became their president. I served as president of the Code Enforcement Association of Texas. Served on their board for about 7 years.
Yes.
During that time, I met a gentleman called Bill Hills.
All right.
And we were serving on the board together. I was in Arlington and he was in Grand Prairie.
Yes.
And I met him, and we formed a relationship that still is today. We've been friends for almost over 20 years.
He's a key person in your life, isn't he?
He really is. He really is.
Bill Hills is so special.
Yep,
he relates to people as good as anyone that I've ever worked with in the whole world. Being the citizen of the century, I have to document him as my wonderful, wonderful leader of the century.
He really is.
Yes.
He was, he was very key in bringing me to the city of Grand Prairie.
Oh, he was.
He was actually the person that hired me. We were probably
Under
on a
what
trip.
umbrella did you come in?
I came in. He was over code enforcement at that time.
Yeah.
And he became over housing and development eventually. But
yes.
at that time, he was over code enforcement. And we were probably at a conference somewhere or something. We both try to remember when we had this discussion, but we had the discussion about me coming to work for the city of Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
And that opportunity came through. He got an opening. He called me and went through the interview. And luckily enough for me, I was able to make it through the interview. And he made me an offer, and I came over. And
in what year?
That was in 1993. And I think it was in March of 1993. I came to work. And the funny story at my going away party, and also I tell this story a lot about Bill.
Yeah.
Is I had a going away party when I left Arlington. I'd been in Arlington for 9 years, and I had a going away party. It ended Friday at 5 o'clock, and I walked out the doors of the city of Arlington for the last time. and Bill had called me and he said, "I need you to come to work on Saturday at 7 o'clock." So I
You didn't have any breathing time.
didn't have
did
any
you?
breathing time. He had a training class, and I remember we were going over how to inspect vacant houses. And he had his entire staff out there Saturday at 7 o'clock, and we started training on how to inspect vacant houses. And so that's
Was
that's
this
how
a
I
new
met.
phase, this inspection phase of public housing and et cetera for you?
It was for me. I had been an apartment inspector in Arlington and had done fire inspections, plumbing inspections,
Yes,
a lot of fire rehabs and stuff
but
like
never
that.
the whole shooting match.
But never the whole shooting match.
Oh,
and so this
man.
was all brand new for me. Worked under a guy named Tom Robinson at the time. I think you remember Tom.
Yes.
Worked here a long time.
Yes, he
was
did.
one of my trainers. Still remember, everything that he taught me then. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
But Bill became my mentor. He worked with me for a lot of years to, help me with my education, help me further my work with the Code Enforcement Association of Texas, but also get me more involved with the Grand Prairie Police Department. Bill helped form the Support Abatement Forfeiture Enforcement, which is a program that we had then that where a code enforcement officer is assigned to the police department and helps them rehab or either tear down drug houses and dilapidated buildings that people that are selling drugs and stuff like that and users are using, and we could be able to take those out of a blighted area.
What an improvement for Grand Prairie.
It was a really good program, really great program. So.
But all of this time you still are holding in abeyance your time at UTA, and
Yeah.
it's on hold.
It's on hold
It's on hold.
for
And
a long time.
of all of the things, where were you when the city manager noticed what you were doing and decided to give you an incentive to do something else? Give me that story.
Okay, well, Bill Hill's he took over housing and development,
Yes.
and then Sharon Cherry took over building inspections. She got building inspections.
Oh, she's good.
And code enforcement.
Yes.
And so she was the chief building official. When she got code enforcement, we all went to work for her. She saw that I had a little bit more talent that I could use that I wasn't using. And so she sat me down and talked to me and said, "You know what, I'd like you to come be our developer liaison." And so I started working for her as a developer liaison. And what that position did was when developers came in and they wanted to meet with engineers, wanted to meet with transportation or building inspections, they would come in and tell me what the issues were, and I would sit them down with the staff and we would work through those issues. We'd try to find a positive resolution for the city and for the developer, because we want development to come to Grand Prairie.
But good development.
Good development,
Yes.
exactly. And so we had to work through and solve those issues. And so I did that for several years.
That was a remarkable change also,
It
wasn't
really
it?
was. It really was.
That looks like you're stepping up different ladders.
I was climbing
Yes.
that ladder.
Yes, you were.
Yeah. And then one day, Anna Dahl called me, and Anna said that she wanted me to work on a project, a construction project for her called Texas Next Stage back then. And that's the precursor to Nokia Theater and the precursor to Verizon Theater. And so I served with her and Jim Swafford on a committee to construct Texas Next Stage at the time. And so from there, started working with Anna on that project.
Yes.
And then the next project that came up was Quick Trip Park. And so
Was that all under Anna's jurisdiction? Okay.
Yeah, it was all
so
under
the
Anna's.
next was the Quick Trip.
Yeah,
Okay.
Quick Trip Park was next. And during that time, Tom had talked to me, Tom Hart had talked to me about getting my bachelor's degree.
Yes.
And so I'd gone back and also Craig Farmer had talked about me getting my bachelor's degree. Sharon Cherry had talked to me. So they were all telling me I needed to go back to college. I was, didn't have a lot left. I needed to go back and finish. So with all of the people telling me that I needed to do that and incentives that they were telling me that would happen, I went back and got my bachelor's degree.
While you were working and while you were
while I
doing
was
all these
working.
other things.
Yeah.
Okay.
And right before I finished my bachelor's degree, I probably had one class or two classes left.
Yeah.
A position came open in the city manager's office, and it was the assistant to the city manager. And I applied for that. Even though I didn't have my bachelor's degree yet, I still applied for it. And applied for it, and I think I made probably the top three, and came down to me and a couple other people, and I wasn't the successful candidate at that time.
Yes.
And Tom sat me down, and he told me everything about the reasons why they chose the candidate that they did,
Yes.
and told me also that I needed to work harder to get my master's degree.
Get that cleaned up.
Finish my bachelor's degree,
Yes.
work on my master's degree. So
While you were still
still at work.
at work with the Quick Trip Park and those
Right.
things you were doing there.
Right. And so we started working on Quick Trip Park soon, a couple of years after that.
Yeah.
I still hadn't gone back and got my master's degree though.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I hadn't done it. So we finished Quick Trip Park. Tom gives me a call. That candidate that was in the assistance to the city manager's position had been there about 3 years. And that's the limit that Tom puts on that position. He really wants you to be there 3 years,
Get in and
learn,
get out.
learn everything you can, and then he wants you to go, be that butterfly and go and fly. And so he called me again, and he said, "Are you still interested in this position?" And I said, "Definitely, I'm interested in it." We went to the mayor's office and sat down and had a discussion. And I remember today, he asked me, he said, "I'm going to make you the offer of this job, but remember, you've got to go get your master's degree. You've got to go get it. You got to start on it immediately." And I said, I will. I'll do that. And he said, "Do you need to call Christine and talk to her about it?" And I said, "Sir, I don't need to." I said, "Because for the past 3 years, we've been talking about this." I said, "We've been playing what-if scenarios. What if Tom asked you to take this job? What are you going to do?" And the answer was always, "I'm going to take the job, and I'm going to do what it takes to be successful at that job." And so I immediately, left his office.
What year did you become an assistant to the city manager?
It was in 2008.
2008.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now we've gotten you into this place where you're not into your education yet, but now how am I going to fold Christine into all of your life? During what happening did you meet and marry Christine that is the love of your life, and you have a beautiful daughter and all of this kind of good stuff, and that's going to come a little bit later, but I need you to bring me up to speed with Christine, how she fits into here for this encouragement. If she were here, I would know how to bring that out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. She's got so much going on with the move and everything like that. But I met her about 11 and a half years ago in probably October 1999. Met her, and we instantly fell in love. We dated for 6 months and got married.
That's wonderful. Now that I've got you, now that I have you with Christine into my program here, I'm happy that she's going along with you on all of these things, and
definitely.
you're consulting her about everything that you do, right?
Oh yeah, and she's pushing me. Let me tell you.
Yes, she is.
She wanted me to be successful. She
is
supported
good.
me. Oh yeah, she definitely is. She's supported me every way. You got to remember, before we met, I still hadn't completed my bachelor's degree, so I had to go back and get that. And she was, at the same time, we had 2 sons. We had Michael and Luke.
Yes.
Michael's 9 and Luke's 8. Also, Megan's 19. She's at Texas Tech right now. But then she was a little girl. She was 8 or 9 years old.
And Michael is how old now?
He's 9.
He's 9. And your other son?
Luke is 8.
Luke. I love
He's
that
8.
now. We got a great grandson of that name.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now that gets us all personally pulled together here. That's good.
But she's having to do most of the work.
Yes.
At the house, she mowed the grass and mowed the grass, pulled weeds, and all that.
Because you had to go to education.
I was going to school, at night and everything like that. So,
all right.
No complaints at all. She just, nose to the grindstone.
When did you enter UTA again?
2000. 2003 was when I went back for my bachelor's degree, and graduated in 2005. And then my master's degree I started in 2008 and finished in 2010. UTA has a great program of, it's a cohort program, and they have a campus in Fort Worth at the old train station right there, the old depot right there.
That's easy to get to, isn't
Right,
it?
it was easy to get to, especially, I'd leave straight after work,
Yeah.
get off at 5 and have to be there by 6,
Yeah.
and our classes went from 6 to 10. And we started off with about 13 or 14 people in the class. Each one of us went through the same program together. By the end of the class, we probably had added more people, but we'd lost some people too. Some people thought the schedule was a little rigorous for them.
And
They
it
couldn't
was.
take it. It really was. Because you remember, this master's program was 20 months.
Yes.
You took the whole thing in
Oh,
20 months.
months.
So, but if you stuck to it and you put out the effort, when you finished, you ended up with a master's degree. And there's several of us. Matter of fact, another employee, Julie Pena,
Yeah.
works in housing for Bill Hills.
Yes.
She was in that same program, and she graduated at the same time that I did. During that time, during this master's program, I was able to hire 2 interns. Julie was one of the interns that we brought over, and then we
Yeah.
had another intern that came in who's now working for the Social Security Department.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so he's got a great intern program that everybody that works through there becomes very
Did you get a
successful.
pat on the back from the city manager when you finally got that master's degree?
Oh yes, he was very proud of me for doing it. But let me tell you, I mean, it had a lot to do with him, because
Yes.
without his support, without his urging and pushing me, I would've-
He's good.
Yeah, it would have been very difficult for me to go back and do that. It takes, they say it takes a village. It really took the entire staff of the city manager's office helping me. I can't tell you how many times I had papers that I had to write, and I'd write the papers and I'd bring them to work and I'd show them to Kathy DiMaggio, and I'd say, Kathy, look over these please, and make sure my grammar's
Tell
right.
me where I'm.
Yeah, exactly. So, and she's looked at so many of those for me and so helpful. Gloria Colvin has helped me. I tell her the same thing. Take a look at this. What needs to be changed. And so much help there. It's just incredible.
And then all of a sudden, you got kicked out. What
Yeah,
happened?
Got kicked out. I, the end of my year. Whenever you.
The end of your term with the city manager.
It just happened. It just happened that I got a job for the city of Salina at about the same time that my Rotary presidency ended.
Yes,
so that all
and the
worked
fact
out.
that your deal with the city manager came, all three
Exact-
things came together at once, didn't they?
It was like, God had a plan for me.
Yes, ma'am.
So definitely, Tom had talked to me last year. He said, I'm going to help you find a job. 3 years was coming up.
Yeah.
It would have actually been September of this year, would have been the end of my 3 years.
And you were going to have to leave.
Was going to have to leave. I'll tell you one thing that Tom told me as I was going to my final interview with the council of the city of Salina. Tom Cox and Tom Hart were in there, and they had just come out of a budget meeting, and they were congratulating me on making it to this step with the interview with the Salina City Council, and they said, you better do good on the interview. And
Yes.
I said, why is that? And they go, we didn't put you in next year's budget.
You were out of here.
I was out of
You
here.
were out of
so
here. No budget.
yeah, so that was another great incentive for me to do
When did
well
you
on my
begin
interview.
officially with Salina?
I began last Monday.
Last
Not this
Monday?
past Monday, but Monday, June 27th. Yep, June 27th.
That's 6/27, Ruthie. Okay.
So I've been on the job officially 8 business days. So it's been a great time. Busy. That town is growing. Salina just, they've got 99 square miles of vacant land.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's just amazing. I told somebody, I said, somebody has handed me a palette and a paintbrush. And our council and mayor and staff We have great leadership, and so we're going to do the best job that we can for that community.
And Christine and Michael and Luke are going along with this ride.
Oh yeah, they are.
Good.
We've still got our house in Keller. We're trying to sell that.
Yeah.
And so that's going to keep Chris very busy there. But we've got a rental house in Salina, so I've officially moved to Salina.
Okay.
I'm living in a rent house there. So trying to keep up to, the boys and Chris come down on weekends.
Yes.
And they come visit, Daddy.
Big
So,
Daddy-o.
yeah. And we're still trying to play select baseball. The
Good.
boys both play select baseball. They're on a 9U select team that's out of Keller, and they play on the same team together.
You have 1 minute. It's flashing. You have 1 minute to say thank you to everyone that ever helped you on any of this road that you've processed along the way. 1 minute.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody that's helped me. I can name so many people, but I know I'd leave people out. But Bill Crowley, Bill Hills, Sharon Cherry, Craig Farmer, Tom Hart, Tom Cox, Anna Dahl, Gloria Colvin.
Don't forget Christine.
Yeah, Christine, my Kathy DiMaggio, Deanna Ortiz. I'll tell you, there's so many that have helped me. My sons, my
Yes.
daughter, Megan. Like I said, in
Little
my
Megan.
going away party.
Yes.
She had to have some time away from her dad that I wished I could have back. But now we spend precious time together.
Yes.
We still have that time that we can make up and stuff like that. So
That's good.
it's just a great trip for me, and I just appreciate everything everybody's done for me.
I want to thank you for this interview. It's
Thank
a
you very
special
much.
tribute, and you keep Salina beautiful, and we'll help you keep Texas beautiful.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Ms.
you for
Jackson.
being here.
You bet.
And thank you for watching our show today. Be with us anytime you want to see history of Grand Prairie, Texas. It's always documented as accurately as we possibly can. And thank you for watching our show today.